Has anyone checked in on Amazon lately? Because 5 or so years ago, all the course bros were selling Amazon FBA passive income courses. A couple of them went to jail. Most of them have gone out of business. But guess what? Amazon's a $1 trillion company. They're still doing great. And there's still countless people making millions of dollars a year selling stuff on Amazon that they're just drop shipping from China or importing from China and shipping it directly to an Amazon warehouse. So today, I'm going to show you how to scrape Amazon, find the best sellers, find the products that are about to be best sellers, and just to find the most opportunity to compete. Because most people, when they go to sell something on Amazon, they're just picking things that they're comfortable with or familiar with, but not today. We're going to use hard facts and data to find winning products in 3 different categories: pets, household items, and books and education. This is a banger of a video, so let's dive right in. Okay, the first category I'm going to scrape today is pet accessories, as in anxiety beds, calming vests, puzzle feeders, interactive toys, all the types of stuff that Americans spend way too much money on. Okay, so I'm logged into Oxylabs, which is the tool I use to scrape. If you go to oxylabs.io/Chris, you can get both a free trial and 20% off any scraping credits. Okay, so I'm logged into Oxylabs, and I'm going to click on Web Scraper API over here on the left, and then I'm going to click Explore API Playground. Okay, now here on this dropdown, I'm going to go to Amazon. Then under Scraper, I'm going to click Best Sellers. Okay, now it's asking for the Browse Node ID. Don't freak out. Here's what I'm going to do to get this. You can go to Grok, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you want to do, any of the AIs. I'm going to use Claude. I already have the categories that I'm interested in. And so my prompt is right here. I'm going to scrape Amazon bestsellers, but I need the 5 to 7 digit query code for each of the below categories. What are they? And by the way, I'm pasting the outputs of this prompt into Google Docs, and I'm putting that link in the show notes below without any paywall. I don't need your email address or anything. Just use that for free. That way you can skip this step entirely. Boom, look at that. Gave me a spreadsheet. You're going to go to this spreadsheet that I'm providing in the show notes below right here. And I'm just going to pick one. I want to look up pet accessories. So I'm going to copy that one. Boom. Go back here, paste that. Okay, now parsing needs to be true. This just means I want it to give me structured data and not unstructured data, because I don't even know what parsing means. I want it to be able to go in a spreadsheet so I can read it. Domain, I'm going to choose .com because I'm in the US. If you're in the UK or a different country, then pick your own respective domain. It would be interesting, regardless of what country you're in, to scrape the same thing in different countries and contrast the prices of the same bestsellers. That could be a whole other video. And then very important that you choose locale. This is where your VPN is, or where the scraper thinks that you're located. If I don't pick this and it uses a VPN in, say, the Philippines, then it's going to return bestsellers from the Philippines and in the Filipino pesos. So you're going to pick whatever currency of whatever country that you want these prices to be displayed in. So I'm going to go United States English. Okay, now on location, I'm just going to put in a zip code near me and submit request. Boom. Took about 10 seconds. We're done. I can see over here on the right, the preview. I can see it's showing the delivery location based on the zip code that I entered. It looks like it scraped about 50 items, which is awesome. I'm going to click export results and then JSON. I don't know what a JSON is or how to read that data. So I'm going to go back to Claude over here. I'm going to upload that JSON file, and I'm going to say, convert this to CSV data and make the Amazon URLs complete and clickable. Because I've done this before, and it gives me the URL suffixes, the endings, but it doesn't include www.amazon.com. I want to be able to click it directly from Google Sheets. So simple request for Claude. There's the export. We're going to download it. And then I really want to put it in a Google Sheet. So I'm going to open a blank Google Sheet. I'll also include this in the show notes. I'm going to paste it. Boom, there it is. Number of ratings. That column's irrelevant. Price, currency, the rating on a 5-star scale, the title of the product, the price again, we'll delete that because it's redundant, the ASIN, which is the Amazon Standard Identification Number, and then the URL, so we can click on it. So this is incredible. I'm going to delete this column because we don't need that. I want to see the ratings and the ratings count. I'm going to drag this over to be next to that. I want to see more of the title. And let's just look at one of these. 8,800 ratings. Bags for a cat feeder. Okay, cool. Okay, now you may be wondering, like, in what order were these scraped? We got 50 results. They're ordered in column A, 1 through 50. What does that even mean? Well, it means in that specific category, with that specific 8 or so digit code that I uploaded for pet accessories, these are the best selling products in that one specific category. But what do we do with that data? Well, there's a few things. For starters, we want to look for a review count and sales rank mismatch. This is the single most valuable signal that most people miss. If a product has a very good or high bestseller rank, but a low review count of like under 300, say, it means that the market is buying, the market loves this product, but it's not a locked down category yet. Nobody really owns it, right? It's not the McDonald's of the burger franchises yet. That means there's still opportunity for you to swoop in and sell a competing product to capture that first place position. BSR equals bestseller rank. So high BSR plus high review count equals established market leader. That's already kind of saturated. We're going to ignore those. But high BSR plus low review count equals a land grab is still in progress. It means this is still up for the taking for you. So let's do some easy division real quick to find what those products are that show the most opportunity. How do we do that? Very simple. We're going to add a new column. We're going to say equals, click on the ratings count, and divide it by the bestseller rank for this category. Boom. Click the checkbox. We don't want this as a monetary number. We want this just as a number. Now we are going to filter and sort A to Z. Let's add a couple decimal points here. So this product is the 40th best-selling product in the category, but it only has 5 ratings. Interesting. So according to this scrape, and according to this logic, this could be the biggest opportunity in this category. Now, this is just one way of looking at the opportunity here. This is not the end all be all. I'm going to cover a lot more strategies or tactics for finding winning products. This is just one. So before you go invest your life savings in an automatic cat feeder, just wait. There's more to this story. Now, if you see here, the least amount of opportunity is on the bestseller in the category because it already has 8,800 reviews. And the percentage of people that actually leave a rating or review on an Amazon product can vary between 1 and 5%. Let's say it's 1%. Well, we need to take this 8,800 number and multiply it by 100. So that's 880,000. It says 6,000 people bought this in the last month. So if this product has been for sale for like 12 years, then that number would be accurate. It's probably more like 2% of people buying this are leaving a review, which means we would have to multiply that 8,800 by 50, and we get about 440,000, which means that one person made millions of dollars selling this one product on Amazon, which is kind of wild. But we don't care about this one. It's already oversaturated. And you know what? This one here at the very top, this might not be enough opportunity. You can't automatically assume that this is the best opportunity in the pet beds or accessories category. There's more to the story that we're going to cover. So I want to find outliers. Now, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to sort them from 1 to 50 again, how they were originally, and just look for outliers in column F, the count of the ratings. Okay, boom. The top 6 all have thousands, if not tens of thousands of ratings, but number 4 here only has 727, which is very, very interesting. And number 11 here has only 463. So you can see these are outliers, and an easy way for spotting these outliers is to go highlight the column, click Format, Conditional Formatting, Color Scale, click that. Actually, we're going to click that, and we're going to look for the green. We're going to look for the green cells that are near the top of this list because we have them sorted from number 1 to number 50th bestseller. So what's standing out? This product, this product, this product, and then some of these. Now down here, these are dark green, which is great, but they're also not very highly ranked as bestsellers. So you're just going to have to do your own research on that. Now you can start to use your beautiful brain to find reasons why this one, number 4, is an outlier. Okay, so we'll click on it here. What's different about this? Well, first of all, why don't we ask Claude? I'm going to screenshot this, and then I'm going to go to the other top 4, screenshot this, screenshot that, boom, and then screenshot number 1. Now I'm going to screenshot the top 4 in the spreadsheet. I'm going to go back to Claude. I'm going to add all 5 of those screenshots to my chat window and say, now keep in mind, I'm going to try a different prompt where I say, which one of these top 4 show the most opportunity to copy? I'm going to do that in 2 different windows and see if I'm right, because I want to learn different things here. In one, I want to tell Claude my hypothesis so it can confirm or deny that hypothesis or tell me reasons why my hypothesis might be true. And in the other one, I want it to tell me in an unbiased way which of the top 4 are showing the best opportunity to copy with a competing product. So let's start with this. Now let's go to a different Claude window while we wait for that one to spit out. Upload the same 5 screenshots. My prompt: which one of these 4 products show the best opportunity for me to compete with directly and why? I want to import a similar product from Alibaba and sell it on Amazon. Okay, so with the first prompt, it said, great eye, Chris. Here's what jumps out. I'm not going to read this verbatim. You can pause it and read it. But it says number 4 is doing so well because the 2-in-1 angle is doing the heavy lifting. It's the only product in the top 4 that bundles a food feeder and water dispenser together. That's amazing. Now, I could have looked at it myself with my own 2 eyes and learned that, but this is better. This is faster, and it's going to find other things that I certainly would have missed because my attention to detail is absolutely terrible. Highest rating with fewest reviews. Now, that's something that I did pick out, but remember, that's only one angle here. Gravity fed equals 0 complexity. No Wi-Fi, no app, no voice recorder, no batteries. Its simplicity means fewer returns, fewer negative reviews about stopped working or app won't connect. Amazon's algorithm rewards low return rates. This is amazing. A lot of times we think that consumers want all the features, all the tech, everything. But if it has all that stuff, maybe we do want it. But if it has all that stuff, that means there's a higher likelihood that people will return that problem due to defects. And then Amazon's algorithm knows, whoa, 3% of people are returning this one, whereas only 1% of people are returning that one. So when people search cat feeder on Amazon, we're going to rank the one that people are returning less of much higher because Amazon doesn't make money when we return stuff, and neither does the seller. And then it also says pricing, the $29.99 sweet spot. It matches number 2 exactly, but delivers more perceived value. 2 products versus 1. I'm like chuckling to myself because I'm like convincing myself to go start importing cat feeders, but I promise I won't. Someone watching this can. Meanwhile, number 3 is $50 and Amazon is literally flagging it as price higher than typical. Review velocity matters more than review count. Okay. Number 1 isn't even a feeder. Okay. The top seller is almost certainly an Alibaba importer, generic brand name sold by third party, fulfilled by Amazon. This is the exact playbook you'd be running. Okay, so if you're sourcing a competitor from Alibaba, the gravity-fed 2-in-1 design is dead simple to manufacture. It's basically 2 plastic containers with gravity flow. Okay, so now we got to go find a product just like this on Alibaba. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to Labs. We're going to go website, Alibaba, scraper, Alibaba, search term, automatic cat feeder water dispenser 2-in-1 gravity. Okay, then we're going to click submit request. Much easier than even the Amazon scraper. Also, in case you're wondering, anytime you're scraping on Labs, you don't have to worry about Amazon, Alibaba, or any of those companies blocking you because Labs is able to bypass all of these anti-scraping measures that a lot of these tech companies have. It's got over 177 million IP addresses that it rotates between to protect you. Boom. All right, there's the results. We're going to click export results, JSON response. We're going to go back to Claude. Boom. Add photos and files. Make this a CSV. Now, while it's doing that, we're going to go to the other Claude prompt where I basically said, hey, in an unbiased way, which of these 4 products shows the most opportunity? And wouldn't you guess it, product number 4 is the one that it chose. Lowest barrier to entry, still selling well, simplest to manufacture, better margin potential. That's one thing we really have to look at. I almost forgot. There's a chance that number 4 here, this beloved 2-in-1 gravity feeder, has low margins. Like what if you have to pay $20 and sell it for $30 and after fees and shipping and all that, you don't make any money? That could be the case. We'll find out here in a minute. Ooh, I like that Claude says easy to differentiate. The listing says plastic. You could come in with a slightly upgraded version, stainless steel bowls, better seal design, include a mat, and immediately position above them. Beautiful. While we're waiting for Claude to spit out that spreadsheet version, we're going to go do this the more low-tech way. We go to Alibaba.com, right there, boom, image search. So we go back to this lovely product of ours and we're going to save the image and we're going to search Alibaba by that image. All right, guys, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of really similar looking products here. 2-in-1 automatic food and water feeding bowl, $3.89. It's got the water on the left, the food on the right. Look at this one, water on the left, food on the right. The only difference is this one has black plastic around the water. This one's clear. I think the clear looks better, honestly. You can see the water level more easily. I mean, this is a $3 product that's selling for $30 on Amazon. This one's $1.55 if you order 100 pieces. In case you're not doing the math, that's only $150 worth of product. Of course, shipping is going to add a lot to that, but not as much as you'd think. And that's coming from someone that's been ordering millions of dollars worth of electronics and other items from Alibaba and AliExpress for the last 17 years. So let's look at this one here, $1.55. You can see the levels of each. It's gravity fed, 2-in-1. This is amazing. If you want it in black, I could just reach out and say, hey, I want this in black. Surely they're already making it in black. So it looks like this is 30 by 30 by 30 centimeters, which is give or take like 10 to 12 inches of each of the three dimensions. 1 kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds. So if I were to order 100 of these for $155 total, keep in mind, I don't need to ship it to myself. I can ship it directly to an Amazon warehouse, and they will take it from there and ship it out to all of their other warehouses. So for sea freight and like 30% tariffs, you're probably looking at about $4 to $5 per unit just to get it from China to Amazon. Let's say $5 to be conservative. Let's say these are $2 per unit instead of $1.50 to be conservative. That's $7 landed to an Amazon warehouse. But Amazon's going to take a cut per unit sold. Because of the dimensions of this item, it pushes you past what Amazon calls its large standard size category and into their large bulky category, which means you're going to pay between $10 and $15 in Amazon fees. That includes everything. It includes their shipping from Amazon to the consumer, everything, storage and all that. So your total fees, cost, imports, tariffs, taxes, everything per unit sold is going to be between $16 and $21, leaving you a net profit of $9 per unit if you sell it at the same price as these other guys, which is a 30% net profit margin. 30%, which is really, really good for Amazon. That's like what Amazon FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, sellers used to make 5 to 15 years ago. And it's only possible because of this research that we're doing. Most people, when they're selling on Amazon, they just find a category that they like. Like, I like going to the gym. Chris liked gym. Chris import weights. And so everyone's importing gym equipment or supplements or clothing, shoes, whatever. Buy with data, sell with emotion. That's a Shannon Jean quote. Now, if we really want to get good with this, we'll order a slightly smaller version to get us away from that bulky category and into the large category. That would save us like $3 a unit. So if we could sell this for $28 instead of $30 and make it just a little bit smaller, then we will net out ahead. We'll make an extra $1 per unit. And our conversion rate might even be higher because it's a cheaper product. Okay, I almost forgot that we downloaded all of the Alibaba scrape results. We'll see how those differ to the image search results. We're going to take that. We're going to start in our Google Sheet. And I love how it has a column for MOQ, minimum order quantity. It says the name of the supplier, how many years in business, the URL to the product here. And then we can just do this. We can just filter and sort by price. And let's make this look a little cleaner. So which one has a low price and a low minimum order quantity? It just so happens that the one we just looked at anecdotally is the number one. It has the cheapest price and 100 minimum order quantity, but with the cheap price, it's fine. And you know what? It's a brand new supplier, so you could look at that negatively saying like, I don't know, are they reputable? They might not be. Or you could look at that positively and say, these guys are really hungry to make a name for themselves, so they're willing to sell at a very small profit margin or even at a loss so they can get their first customers. We won't really know which is true until we test. Okay, let's do 2 more categories, and I want to give you 4 more strategies on how to look at this to best ensure that you make a lot of money in doing this. Okay, now what's a category that is not going to go out of style anytime soon? Health and wellness. Coincidentally, when Jeff Bezos launched Amazon, he said to himself, what are people never going to stop wanting? They're never going to stop wanting fast delivery. We're only going to want faster and faster delivery forever. We're only going to want cheaper and cheaper prices forever. We're only going to want higher and higher quality forever, right? So I don't see a future where humans want to be less healthy. I think that's a trend that's only going to keep growing. So we'll go health and wellness next. We'll find a winning product, and then we'll round this out with my favorite category, books and education. Very unsexy, very boring, very, very profitable. Okay, so we're going to go back to these ID codes, foam rollers, massage guns, sports recovery products, health and household. The shorter ID numbers are the more broad categories, and I want to go broad right here. So instead of going like very niche on foam rollers, I just want to see health and household. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go back to Oxy Labs, hit the drop down, Amazon. We're going to go boom, bestsellers. We're going to paste that browse node ID, parsing is true. You probably remember all this already. Amazon domain is .com. Location, we'll do the same zip code that we did before. Locale, United States English in my case. Boom, submit request. Boom, there we go. Took about 30 seconds. We're gonna click export. You know the drill. We're gonna convert the JSON to CSV. Okay, there it is. We got a new tab here called Health Amazon. Paste that in. We got clickable URLs, and you already know what we're gonna do. Okay, first of all, lots more ratings in the health and wellness category. That's a good sign. Hundreds of thousands, holy crap. Paper towels, toilet paper, makes sense. Batteries, yep. All right. Now, before you think, this is too crowded, this is too competitive, how am I gonna compete with Bounty and Scott and Amazon Basics? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just because something seems saturated doesn't mean it's saturated. It just means that it's a popular category. It really has no correlation on if there's more demand than supply in that category or not. We're gonna have to learn that for ourselves with this hard data. So, which one in the top 50 has the lowest ratings count? Okay, these paper towels right here, that's interesting. We're gonna do conditional formatting, boom, boom. Lower is better in this case. Paper plates. Electrolytes. Okay, LMNT electrolytes. 3-ply paper towels. Okay, so I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can I compete with Bounty and Dude Wipes? And stop. We're not going to be importing toilet paper and paper towels from China. Obviously, that's unrealistic. But what this is telling us is the volume of buyers coming through these categories is outrageous. So we want to find a tangential category that we can sell to. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take this scrape and scrap it. We're going to scrap the scrape and then get another ID for a tangential Amazon category, such as paper towel holders, bamboo kitchen accessories, because bamboo is so hot right now, stuff like that. Kitchen accessories that they can use alongside these things so we can still piggyback on the amount of volume that's flowing through Amazon on these exact products. So I've got the node ID for paper towel holders. We're just going to find bestsellers of those. So we're going to go back to Oxylabs, paste in that node ID. Boom. I'm going to keep everything else the same and then start scraping that. Okay, boom. There we go. 50 paper towel holders and other kitchen accessories sorted by bestseller rank. And then we've highlighted the green ones to look extra interesting here. This one is the 8th bestseller and only has 136 ratings. So let's look at what it is. Paper towel holder, wall mount, self-adhesive, no drill or drilling. I wonder if that's why. $5. Holy crap. Stainless steel for $5. How the heck are they getting this? So let's go find out. Oh man. So here's what I did. I went to Alibaba. I did the image search just like I did before. And what do you know? 40 cents to $1.77 for the same item. Amazing. And I really like this one because it's small enough that we can get it shipped much more cheaply without having to go through sea freight. I mean, that is the exact same picture. So you can apply the same magic, same strategy, same math that we did to the pet accessories here. And it's pretty clear there's opportunity here. I mean, if you look at this, 15,000 ratings, if 2% of those people who purchased it rated it, then that's 750,000 sales for this stupid thing right here. Look, 8,000 people bought it in the last month. Incredible. But the question is, what other kinds of arbitrage opportunities can we find in the Amazon scraping results? Okay, so we've been looking at the gap between the bestseller rank and the number of ratings, which is great, but what else is there? Well, for one, I like to look at the 1-star test. That's what I call it. You don't just want to read the negative reviews. You want to count the 1-star/negative reviews by review type. What are they all complaining about? Are they all complaining about the same thing? In my experience, about 40% is the magic number. If 40% of 1-star reviews are mentioning the same quality control problem, shipping problem, coloration problem, etc., then there's a big opportunity because you can just take that same item, fix the problem that everyone's complaining about, and sell it at the same price. And remember, if Amazon sees that your comparable product has fewer returns than the one you're competing against, they will boost yours in the search results. Another thing is the photo matching. If you notice on this paper towel holder, the Amazon seller used the exact same stock photo that they got from Alibaba. That does not signal good branding or good quality to the consumer. It's lazy. You want this product to look like a whole company was formed around it. People want to see the product in use, not just in a stock photo, but in a real kitchen, even if the quality of the picture isn't as good. And I cannot emphasize enough how important that first image is on your Amazon listing. That's what people's eyes go to first. The titles are a mile long. They're not reading all that. They're looking at the image. So you cannot be too careful or too strategic with the image that you pick. And then don't forget the variation opportunity. You can use Labs to scrape items and look at all the variations they offer in color, size, bundles, etc. Then go scrape the Q&A section and the review section and see where people are saying words like, I wish this came in a bigger size. I wish this came in black or white or in a bundle. Then go back to your manufacturer or go back to Alibaba and ask them to do that. Hey, can you do this in white? Can you do this in black? Of course they can. And again, take close care to look at the shipping weight and dimensions because there's opportunity there. If you see a winning product sold for 25 bucks and then you look at the Amazon categories for sizes and what thresholds they have for fees for any given size or weight, at what point do they get bumped to the next highest fee tier? There's opportunity for you to take that exact same product, changing nothing except for the size of the product just a little bit, shrink it down a little bit, either the weight or the dimensions, to get it in a lower fee tier, because that could be the difference between $13 in Amazon fees and $10 in Amazon fees. And that $3 difference will be pure profit to you. I just can't help but screenshot these kitchen accessories, send them over to Claude and ask which ones it finds to be the most opportunistic for us. So I took a simple screenshot and said, okay, of all these products, which ones might be the most profitable for us to copy and sell and why? All right, this is very interesting. It likes number 28, this countertop stand, because the 4.8 rating at 25 bucks means almost no one's returning it. I love that. It likes this one, but it says $8 is too cheap. That's another thing to consider, is using Amazon ads to push some of these items. You're gonna need a little extra margin in there to pay for those ads. Okay, so it says to go after number 28 and 17 because 17 is heavy duty, higher price, and more margin. Super helpful. Now, I've got more strategies to discuss, but first, I want to scrape the third and final category, and that is books and education. So we look over here at the category codes and we're going to go down to books and education. Now, you'll notice that these ASINs, these identification numbers, are very low. That's because Amazon started only selling books back in the 90s. So the business and money category of books was the third category that Amazon ever sold inside. But we want to go niche here because there's millions of books on Amazon. We're going to go education and teaching because that's where the real money's at. I don't know if you saw this video I posted back in December with Mindy. She buys entire pallets of books for $1 and makes thousands of dollars selling those same books on Amazon and eBay, used. And most of the most profitable books are in the education and teaching categories. So that's where we're going to look today. By the way, that video is linked below. All right, so let's go copy that code. We go back to Labs. We're going to keep it on Amazon bestsellers, change out the browse node ID, keep the parsing it true, keep the zip code the same. We're keeping everything else the same except the product ID. Then we submit the request and watch it scrape. All right, our books are done scraping. So let's get these back into our Google Sheet, which remember, you can have this for free in the show notes below. Okay, here's what we got. A lot of green here, a lot of opportunity, but that's kind of a false flag because this first one of 89,000 at the top is really throwing off the scale here because this range is all the way from 6 reviews to 89,000. So that's not giving us an accurate picture. I'm going to fudge the numbers here and change it to be like 30,000 to make this color shading a little more accurate because we're not going to choose these top two anyway. So I'm going to make this one 15,000 and this one 15,000 to make these shades of green more in line with everything else. So first of all, the 6 stands out, but then I see the 2.3 rating. We can't trust that rating one way or another because it's not a big enough sample size. Only 6 people have rated it, so we'll ignore that altogether. Now, let's go ahead and format these as well, which we've never done, so we can see the ratings that stand out the most. We're looking for green on both of these columns right here, so I'm going to drag them side by side, and okay, $4, don't love that. Let's also put the price with conditional formatting so we can easily see that as well. Okay, so what we want to see is green on all 3 of these columns as much as possible. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So my eye keeps coming back to this one right here, preschool paper crafts. This one, learn to read. Now, there's another prompt you can run with Claude that's super, super helpful for stuff like this. So I'm going to screenshot this, go back to Claude, drag the screenshot in, and we want to learn from these titles, right? So I'm asking Claude to say, what commonalities do you see in the titles of these best-selling books that I can learn from? Okay, this is brilliant. Almost every top performer falls under the same structure. What it is, what it does, who it's for. And you know what? You could use that same structure for selling anything. This is good. So let's say you want to sell on Etsy. Boom, take these same first principles about titles and sell printables on Etsy. They don't have to be books. They can be printables, word searches, posters, coloring pages, doesn't matter. Use the same principle in those Etsy titles. Oh, and it just so happens I did a full tutorial on making and selling printables on Amazon and Etsy. That thumbnail's right here, and you can also find that link below in the description as well. It's saying stuff like specific patterns, stack the skills, lead with quantity, age gate everything. This is good. You'd think that like age gating in the title would exclude people, but really what it does is hyper narrow down the type of buyer that you're looking for. Parents of kids ages 4 to 8, 5 to 6, or whatever. Oh, and Claude says that learn to is the highest intent keyword prefix. Let's go ahead and look at this one that we like right here. Learn to write, sight words, yada, yada, yada. We're gonna open it up. And you're probably thinking something like, Chris, this is dumb. I can't import kids' books from China. And I'm gonna say, of course you can. Look at this. We're gonna do an image search on Alibaba for this book. Come over here, boom, 85-cent books. And yes, those things are stupid cheap to ship because they're so small and light. 33 books for $12, brand new. I mean, look at this one right here. Oxford Reading Tree, 33 books. We go to Amazon, we type in Oxford Reading Tree, 33 books, 167 bucks on Amazon, $12 on Alibaba. Now keep in mind, buyer beware, okay? This is my disclaimer. We're not trying to violate any trademarks or copyrights. China is not exactly known for caring about trademarks or copyrights. So do your own research, be careful, be ethical. You're probably gonna be much safer ordering generic kids books or coloring books that don't have any copyrights or trademarks attached to them whatsoever. Like for instance, this kindergarten workbook right here is only 80 cents. You go to Amazon, type in kindergarten workbook, look at that one, it's the exact same, $7 with 8,700 reviews. And what would you know? You go back here to our sheet, 8,700 reviews, kindergarten workbook. That one has 2 out of 3 that are great, that are green. But let's talk a few more strategies before we close this out. You're gonna wanna also look at the rating distribution shape. And what is that? Well, you're gonna use Labs to scrape the ratings again. How many 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ratings are there per product? And just think of it this way. Consider a product with 4.0 average rating, and that could be mostly 5-star reviews and just a couple 1-star reviews, bringing it from 5 to 4, or it could be 50% 5-star and 50% 3-star reviews, giving it a 4 average as well. Those could be 2 very different products with very different complaints or compliments. If it's mostly 5 stars and a few 1 stars, it's probably a manufacturing defect, which is somewhat fixable. But if the ratings are more evenly distributed across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then that's going to be a harder problem to solve because it could be a fundamental problem with the product itself and not just a feature of the product that's defective, but fixable. And another thing to do here, one of my favorite things to do, is a seasonal trend overlay. So one of the top books in this scrape is around ACT test prep. So let's go over to Google Trends and look at the ACT test prep over the last 5 years. Type it in, look at that, up and to the right, very interesting. And that's not just something that's unique to Amazon. And of course, we'll have to remember there is some seasonality to ACT test prep, but regardless of the season, it's still trending up nonetheless. And don't be afraid of the word seasonal. You know that Christmas tree vendor on the corner that shows up every November? That guy prints money. He doesn't lose any sleep because he, quote unquote, only has a seasonal business. He makes all of his money for the year in 2 months. Seasonal is great. It's easy to plan for. And remember, another of the top options in our sheet was trace letters. Look at that. Over the last 5 years on Google Trends, the phrase trace letters is up and to the right, and that is not seasonal. That's a tidal wave. And another strategy to look for is the Amazon Choice badge. You'll see that on listings and it looks about like this. So anytime you scrape a category and multiple products have an Amazon Choice badge, that means that Amazon can't really make up their mind or decide who the category leader is. So with this product type, that means there's still opportunity for you to become that category leader. And that's it. I just showed you how to scrape and analyze Amazon products in 3 different categories: pets, household supplies, and books. There's something for everyone in this video. And I'm here to tell you today that there are still millions of dollars to be made on Amazon. This is not sponsored by Amazon, but you gotta be data-driven and don't be afraid of the phrase data-driven. It's not as complicated as it sounds on the surface. I just showed you, it's looking at numbers. And remember, as you watch this video, you probably thought of a friend or a family member that might like to sell something on Amazon. Please share this with them. It would mean the world to me if you did. You would help enable entrepreneurship. And remember, please check out Labs. They support the channel. I use them on a regular basis. I wouldn't promote them if I didn't love them and actually use them. So go to oxylabs.io/Chris, and you can get up to 2,000 scraped results for free. Remember, today we only scraped a couple hundred. With my code, you don't even need a credit card. If you end up scraping more, you can use promo code Chris for 20% off all Labs credits and all Labs plans. Thanks for hanging out in the Koerner office, and we will see you next time.